All right, well, let's see if this thing works. Reverse. Hey! There we go. Does it go off when I put it back in drive? Sure does. Back to reverse. Beautiful. Everything working like it should. Let me show you guys how I did it. All right, everybody. So I took a few minutes here before I got started with you, showing you what I'm doing here. And I got all the excess electrical tape off of this harness for this radio. Maybe the guy that was doing this got paid by the foot on electrical tape, because all of this was just everywhere. And we don't need all that. And even though I'm reusing somebody else's work, somebody else's parts, I do want to make sure that it's done to the best of my ability. And here's a good example of why I like to check these things. So whoever did this harness, like, we've got the adapter plug. That's awesome. Good job using that. We've got the other adapter plug over here. And they've got the GM module here that's supposed to make it, the aftermarket radio, communicate with the stock computer and everything, get along and be happy. But what I found over here, and this is, again, an example of why I always check this stuff, but we've got speaker wires here, and we've got 1, 2, 3 connections in this speaker wire from the radio output harness to the little adapter plug harness. And there's just, you don't need that. All of these connections, in this case, in the case of a speaker, and like, all of this is going to contribute distortion and resistance into what you're doing. And I mean, I'm not trying to have the best sound system in the world, but there's just no reason to have 3 connections in a single piece of wire. And the other speaker wires are like that. And there's a couple other wires here that just have multiple connections in the same string of wire. I mean, they had all this bundled up and coiled up. Like, they didn't need all that length anyway. So maybe whoever installed this was reusing from somewhere else, or they just really liked, they were super proud of their soldering skills, and they just wanted to demonstrate that here in something that'll never ever be seen. So I'm gonna go through and get this harness tidied up, 1 connection per circuit, make sure that I don't have everything, you know, soldered and heat shrank, so it's not gonna have any problems. But before I do that, I'm actually gonna poke it into the truck and plug it in and see if it powers up, see if it will play the radio, and see if what they have done here actually does work. And assuming it actually does work, then I'll go through and, you know, tidy up the harness, make sure it's all right. If it doesn't work, then I'm probably gonna have to go Google diving and see if I can't find some pinouts and instructions for this module and this radio and these adapters, and try to get things all put in the right place. All right, so it took a little dickering around, but I got it figured out. The radio does in fact work. It plays the radio, it connects to Bluetooth, and then it took me a little trial and error. The backup camera I purchased, and the radio, like, I didn't really have the instructions. The backup camera didn't come with any instructions, and the radio I had to kind of infer off of what the previous hookup person had done, but I think I got it figured out now. So I'm going to take the radio, get this mess tidied up, cleaned up, and get my backup camera put into the tailgate. I found these on Amazon. I think it was like 45 bucks. Camera built right into the handle cover bezel, so I don't have to drill any additional holes or anything like that. And I'm gonna just fish the wire through and run it out through one of the drain holes in the bottom of the tailgate, probably this one actually. And then I should have working backup camera. The primary reason I want this is because I hook and unhook the trailer by myself, and it's kind of a pain to do. I didn't appreciate how convenient it was to have a reverse camera to hook up to a trailer until I didn't have it anymore. And I mean, the radio I got more or less for free. I've sold enough parts off the truck that it came out of that it didn't cost me anything. And this little camera was, like I said, I think it was like 45 bucks. So all in, I'll spend some time and, you know, $45–50 between the camera and some zip ties and other stuff, and should make getting hooked up to the trailer much easier with this thing. So I'm gonna keep going, get it done, and I'll bring you back when I have more to show you.
Forcing the body into action.
All right, team.
We will apply some effort when the motivation is there.
So I got the wire harness cleaned up, all soldered and heat shrunk, with the exception of the little energized connector for the backup camera. I left that connected, so if I ever need to get the camera unplugged, I can. And yeah, Bluetooth is working, speakers are working, radio is working, and backup camera works. So I didn't mess anything up. Next step is I got to start getting the wiring run for the backup camera. So I think what I'm going to do is first get the camera itself onto the tailgate and the wire pulled down through the drain hole on the bottom. And then once I have that in place, I'll work on getting the wiring all run, you know, into the dash, down, back, and out to be able to connect it. So hard part is figured out. Now I just need to do the wire fishing stuff. All right, everybody, making some progress on this thing. It battled a little bit, but I finally got it. So we got the radio in. Radio works. I've got all the wires fished up behind the dash. Run back. I put my little microphone for Bluetooth calls up here in the corner, out of sight for the most part. I also have it hooked up in the back of the radio also, so if I receive a call, it will just play. I'll hear the call through the truck speakers, and then I'll be able to talk back through the microphone, just like you can do in a more modern vehicle. So all I have left to do now is I've got my wire to the backup camera penetrated out of the truck. Actually came right in the I used the grommet where the shifter cable goes through. I just made a little slice in that and poked through. So now I just need to get my wire run along the frame to the back, connect it to the camera lead, and then I need to hook up one wire to the reverse lights and the other wire to ground. And I'm thinking then then it's done. Well, then we'll have to test it, but I would like it to work when I put the truck in reverse, automatically just switch to backup camera, again, just like in a more modern vehicle. The instructions, I think I understand how to do it, so assuming I get that figured out, I'll show you. If not, then at least I'll be able to use the backup camera when I'm backing up to the trailer to try to get connected. So one way or another, it's a win. It's just going to be a question of, is it as nice as something newer? All right, team, it's a couple days later. I'm trying to remember where I left off here. I ran out of daylight the other day, and then we had a stomach flu go through the house. So picking up where I left off, but where I stopped, I've got the camera installed, the wire run. I haven't tidied everything up yet because I'm still dealing with, got a little problem here. When the truck is on, my backup lights are on. Now, the backup camera gets a power source from the backup light, is how they recommend to do it. Hook up the positive for the camera to the positive for the backup light. That way, when you put the truck in reverse, the reverse lights are energized. That energizes the camera, turns the camera on. I think the problem I have is whoever had wired the head unit previously, the radio previously, they tapped the backup camera circuit directly into a power feed wire for the radio. And I'm not sure why, but I left it that way, and I'm 99% sure that's why my reverse lights are coming on as soon as the radio is turned on. Now, according to the instruction manual, there's a violet and white wire that comes out of the radio harness, and that's what's supposed to be excuse me, supposed to be connected to the reverse light. So I'm going to pull the radio back out of the dash, get that wire moved to where it's supposed to be, and see if that corrects my problem. All right, everybody. Well, my theory was correct. It was illuminating the reverse lights even when it wasn't in reverse because of how that wire was hooked up. So I switched it, put it on the wire that is supposed to be connected to the backup camera, and now everything works. Look, check it out. Let's see, can you see here? Yeah, there we go. Whoops. So, can you see? Yeah, there you can see radio, and I shift to reverse, and boom, camera automatically comes on. Put it back up, and automatically goes back to radio. Reverse, backup camera, on, or park, back to the radio. So it's working. Only had to do a little bit of wire demessifying and figuring out, but we got it going on there. That's awesome. Now, it unfortunately, I don't know if you can see here, my hitch is not visible, but I know it should be right in the center, right below the camera. So that at least helped me get pretty darn lined up. And I'm sure after a time or two, I'll have a good visual reference that'll tell me, you know, when I'm close enough or when I'm not close enough to it. So it'll give me enough assistance that I'll be able to get the tongue lined up right in the center. And then after a couple tries, I'm sure I'll know what my depth needs to be to actually get connected. Still going to make a huge difference getting hooked up to the trailer all by myself. And that's really, that was the main focus here, was being able to get hooked up to that trailer by myself without a bunch of in and out of the truck. So, pretty pumped for a free upgrade. Well, that's it for this one, team. It's, she's all tidied up now. And I'm happy with it. It's, like I said, gonna make it easier to get hooked up to my trailer by myself. Hopefully, fewer times in and out of the truck. And it's just a little bit more convenient. So, I tried not to get too far into the nitty-gritty details on this one because it's a used aftermarket radio. It's a used emulator. The module thing isn't even, they don't even make it anymore. So, it didn't seem relevant to go into all those nitty-gritty details for you guys on something that the only way you're going to find it is at a junkyard. So thanks a lot for watching. If you do have questions, if you want more details, poke them or leave a comment down below. I'll try to get back to you as quickly as I can. And I heard today from the body shop, my regular cab short bed should be done next week, hopefully. That's super exciting. I can't wait to get that thing back here and get it on the road. It'll be beautiful. So I just need to make sure it's safe, and then I'll get it on the road and we'll get started on having some fun with that thing. But that's it for this video. Thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and until the next one, everybody, take care.